If you are planning your wedding right now, you're going to want to watch this video. I've rounded up the biggest trends that you'll be seeing everywhere, from elevated aesthetics to fresh ideas that actually feel really timeless. So whether you're deep into planning or just getting started, this is your guide to what's in and what's next, so you won't want to miss it. Welcome back, my loves, to the Curated Wedding. I'm Nazlee and I run Awfully Place, an award-winning wedding venue where we've hosted hundreds of beautiful wedding days. I've also recently gotten married myself, so I'll be unveiling all my insider secrets and top tips from both sides of the aisle so that we can discuss the art of a curated wedding. So if you're interested, hit the subscribe button as well as the bell to be notified of my weekly wedding tips so that you don't miss a thing. Let's get into these latest trends and exactly how you can incorporate them into your day. Firstly, outdoor architecture. This year we are seeing incredible architecture take center stage in terms of wedding decor, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this trend. It's one that you can pair really nicely with a more minimal floral look. With the Brutalist winning 3 awards at the Oscars, it's not a surprise that Brutalist architecture is very much on trend. And for me, this is one of those trends that just offers the most stunning backdrop for your ceremony because it offsets the softness, keeping it feeling really cool and unexpected, but also really transporting your guests into another world for the day. Weddings can be so busy and so full of activity, so pairing the location back to just be architectural and clean can be a beautiful way to make the day feel just a little bit more serene and calm. I'm in love with this candlelit dinner setup where the surroundings just create this cocoon that feels so special and really personal. We actually had our Persian wedding at the Stockholm National Museum, and our ceremony was in the museum's sculpture gallery, which had such high glass ceilings that made it feel like we were actually in an outdoor courtyard without the actual risk of any intermittent weather, which is definitely one of our requirements for any kind of wedding in Sweden. At our venue, Awfully Place, the Hester Ballroom gives the same sort of effect because it's so light and airy with the rustic brickwork and high ceilings, which creates that beautiful indoor-outdoor feeling whilst keeping you protected from the weather, which again is definitely important for any UK weddings as well. It just means that you can have all the beauty of an outdoor wedding without stressing about the risks of even slightly poor weather, which can affect everything. This is definitely a tick for me. Number 2, post-wedding brunch. This is something I'm totally obsessed with and something you should seriously consider if you're having a wedding where your guests will be traveling to a location and staying overnight. 9 times out of 10, you just aren't going to be able to spend as much time as you'd like with every one of your loved ones that comes to your wedding because it's such a busy day. And I know everyone says it flies by, but it really does. So organising a brunch for the next day is a really great way to spend a little bit more casual, low-key time catching up with those people that you missed on the wedding day. It just gives you that little bit of extra time together and a more casual goodbye. It also makes your wedding day just that little bit longer, so you can all reminisce about the day before and really take it all in with those closest to you. Now, you can make your post-wedding brunch as big or as small as you'd like. Some weddings that I've been to have invited literally everyone, so all the guests are there the next day, whereas others have invited a smaller, closer group of family and friends, which is what we did for our own wedding too. So just think about who you'd like to spend the next day with, and that is your guest list. However you do it, adding a farewell brunch is just going to make your wedding that little bit longer and that little bit more luxurious. Wedding content creators. Now, a few years ago, having a content creator was literally unheard of. I don't even think celebrities did it. But now I actually think it is such a must-have and the perfect way to have a phone-free wedding and still get all that behind-the-scenes, real-life moments captured that you really want. I think we all make the mistake of thinking that the photos that our guests are going to take are really going to capture the beautiful, candid moments, but honestly, leave that to the professionals because they will capture the magic so much better. And ideally, your guests will just be enjoying the moment, spending time with you. I promise you, even your friends who are really, really good with photos or video content are going to be swept away in a day and distracted, just taking it all in. So taking your content just isn't going to be their main focus. And let's be honest, we kind of want that because that's a sign of a really good wedding. So I'm just telling you now, you won't be able to rely on the content that they take in the same sort of way. Your wedding content creator can either post in real time on your socials for you, or they can create a set of videos, reels and photos that they'll send you after the wedding, so usually within 24 hours, which is such a lovely treat for the next morning, especially when your photographer probably won't be able to send you their photos for a few weeks, if not a few months. So I'd recommend having everything sent to you so that you can look over it in your own time. Take it all in, share what you'd like, when you'd like, and whenever you're ready. I had the best experience with Mel from MB Weddings and Events. I'll link her info below if you're looking for someone. And she sent us a full set of photos and videos the very next day, which was such a fun way to relive everything. Waking up to watching a few little videos of the day was such a beautiful treat for us. And we had the most gorgeous, professionally made reel to share of our wedding the next day. So similar to photographers, different content creators are naturally going to have different styles. So look at all of their socials and see which one suits you and your style a little bit better. Some of Mel's content was just so good that I really shouldn't say this, but it would honestly rival a videographer's. So if I could suggest just one little luxury hire for your wedding, this is the one I'd go for. Minimal corseted gowns. So I've actually made a whole other video about luxury wedding dress trends because there's just so many incredible dresses and I really wanted to go into a ton of depth on this. So I'll link that one in the description below so that we can go through it in much more detail. My favorite throw, and one that is definitely on the rise and we're about to see everywhere, is a minimal corseted gown. Where the last few years have been the time of the Bridgerton bride, which I love, and that really soft, romantic feel to dresses, things are now starting to get cleaner, cooler, and a little bit more refined, and dresses are moving in a more minimal direction. Minimal dresses are my favorite personally because I just feel like when it comes to bridal elegance, less is more. Definitely less is more. You want your dress to highlight and accentuate you and not the other way around. Corseted wedding dresses are just a classic, so they'll be a timeless option, but I feel like this more minimal take on the style adds such a modern touch. It still manages to say fairy tale and have that softness and femininity, but this just feels a little bit cooler and a bit more refined. Anthurium blooms. Now, if there's one flower that is everywhere when it comes to weddings at the moment, it is the anthurium, and honestly, I'm obsessed. They feel super minimal and sleek with an almost futuristic touch that makes your wedding florals feel really cool and modern. I love that you don't need to include hundreds of flowers, just a couple make a really big impact on their own, or they look beautiful as part of a lush, overflowing bouquet. If you're not quite sure on this dark red colour, I understand it can be a little bit intense depending on your style. I personally love them in blush tones for a softer approach, or this striking white for a monochromatic feel. If a full anthurium bouquet is just a little bit too much for you, my talented Stockholm florist Sarah from Gulvi Van created the most gorgeous sculptural flowers for my wedding day, with a few anthuriums in there too, and I loved it. I actually think my wedding flowers, honestly, were one of my favourite things about the whole day. So for any brides who want to do something a little bit different from the usual roses or peonies, and your style is a bit more on the contemporary side of things, this is the trend for you. Wonky baroque style cakes. So we've been seeing these vintage style cakes for years now. You know the ones with the cherries that feel really quirky and cool. But now we're seeing that trend extending to feel a little bit more opulent and luxurious, but with this more handmade rustic approach. These days, the beauty is really coming through in the handmade element and the personal touches. So we're seeing so many more couples opting for food and drinks that feel like they've been made with love. Think nonna style Italian dishes and mounds of fresh produce rather than the more fussy, fancy canapes that we're used to. This has merged into a really beautiful, fresh trend with much more ornate baroque style cakes with that homemade aesthetic. It's a little bit wonky, it's a little bit imperfect, but so full of character and love in that old money, unpretentious, luxurious way. A wedding newspaper. Now, this is a trend that I actually had made for my own wedding, but I cannot find any pictures of. It is really fun and a really nice touch to the day, and our guests really loved it. We're talking all about personalised newspapers with whatever you fancy included inside them. The schedule of the day, a bit about your love stories, some engagement photos, any fun features that you think your guests are going to enjoy. And it's a really nice way to mention people, do any shout outs and make them feel included in your story. Plus, they can make for some really fun photo moments during the day. This is another thing I missed out on because I forgot, but you take note. I've had many weddings place them on ceremony chairs for guests to look through while they're waiting. This is a really good one if you think you're likely to be running a little bit late. And I've seen other weddings display them around during the drinks reception, for example, on a couple of tables. We chose to put them in the welcome bags that we placed in the bedrooms of our close friends and family that were actually staying in the hotel with us. We have 16 hotel bedrooms at my venue, Offley Place, where we had our big wedding celebration. So we were able to make our newspapers really, really personal to suit us and the guests that they were intended for. And of course, this is another great excuse to schedule in an engagement photo shoot if you haven't already. I have a video all about everything you need to know when it comes to your engagement photo shoot. So I'll link that down below for you so you've got that to hand. Fast food, but luxury style. Your late night food doesn't have to be fancy. In fact, after a few cocktails, your guests probably won't want anything too formal anyway. But I know so many of us want our weddings to feel a little bit more chic and a little bit more put together. And the idea of a more casual fast food snack doesn't quite align with that vibe. More recently though, we're seeing beloved comfort foods elevated with this luxury twist, and I'm 100% here for it. So imagine fries served on silver platters and personalised pizza boxes, adding a touch of glamour to your late night snack. If there is one place to make it unapologetically yours, it is this. My husband actually spent a few years studying in Korea and is obsessed with Korean food. So for our evening food, we had Korean fried chicken, served in personalised cups and circulated among our guests. It was the perfect thing to end the evening on. Our guests were so happy, we were so happy, and let's be honest, it is actually what they were all craving. So this is one way to make sure that your wedding really ends on a high. Pastel bridesmaid dresses. I know some brides will shudder at this, but we've circled back to pastel, and this time I'm actually on board. I know, I was just as surprised as you were. But hear me out. This look is so perfect for English countryside weddings. The crucial difference though, to make it a bit more current, is the clean and crisp minimal lines. Honestly, there's a reason pastels go so well with weddings, and especially in springtime, they work so well. These feel oh so fresh, soft and really feminine. What do you think? I know that so many brides are gearing away from bridesmaid dresses altogether, especially the ones that are all in one colour. So perhaps keeping to one tone but letting your bridesmaids choose their own style is a really nice way to do this. But let me know in the comments if you're on board and if you'd consider pastel for your own bridesmaids dresses. Cascading bouquets. Florals are getting a makeover and they are so much more minimal right now. Yes, as we've said, we've got the anthuriums that are everywhere, but we're still seeing such stunning bouquets that are really pared back with trailing greenery and artfully cascading flowers. I actually had a cascading bouquet of mini orchids for my wedding. It was actually my something borrowed from my mum's wedding because she had a really similar style for her wedding day. And I just loved how tastefully they just fell. Regular bouquets can sometimes feel a little bit overwhelming and overpowering. And this trend just captures the natural beauty of the flowers so elegantly. So if you're looking for something simple, but to make a bit of a statement, this is one that I'd really recommend because it's just so timeless. As I said, both me and my mum actually had the same floral arrangement, but it still feels today really current and really luxe. Matchbox favors. Now, matchboxes are such a great option if you're looking for a wedding favor that's really fun and can be super personal. I've seen so many different iterations and I'm absolutely loving this trend. So whether you keep it simple and customize it with your names or wedding date, or add an illustration of your location, or even if you want to go for a more vintage design that represents you as a couple, These simple favours have a really vintage, classic vibe and are just such a lovely little gift for your guests to remember the wedding day. You can display them casually next to the drink station and add a little bit of extra personality to your decor, or have them displayed across the tables like normal favours would be. I recently went to a friend's wedding where they had the most gorgeous matchbox favours, and I promise you, unlike some favours, this is one that your guests will take home and will actually use. Sharing desserts. Now, grazing platters have been knocking around weddings for a long time. And personally, I think that the classic grazing table has died a bit of a death when it comes to the wedding scene. But I've been noticing a really fun dessert trend that gives such an elegant and cool feel to weddings, which I really love. They're these shared dessert tables. Not the fussy cupcake towers or the cake slices of the past, but big communal dishes of rich, creamy desserts designed for guests to dive into all together. There's something incredible about huge platters of cream and berries. It feels oh so decadent, but still really fun and laid back. It offers a little bit more of an experience for your guests and gives everyone an excuse to eat a lot of dessert. I mean, who can say no to a huge portion of tiramisu? Really, what's not to love? From help yourself meringues to magnificent croquembouches, the art is in embracing the organic shapes and structures. And if you want to go all out and make it feel a little bit extra decadent, while skipping some of the mess, you can of course hire a team to dish out the portions for you. Admittedly, I am a dessert girl through and through, but this trend is one that I hope we will see stick around. So there you have it, some of the most luxe wedding trends I'm seeing. I hope this gave you a little spark of inspiration, or maybe helped you spot something that just feels a little bit like you. So whether you're leaning into that timeless elegance, into the dramatic silhouettes, or something totally unexpected, remember it's your wedding and your style should lead the way. So take the trends that feel like you and just leave the ones that don't fit your vibe, and have fun with it all along the way. That's all you can do. That's the most important thing. I genuinely love to hear which trends you like the most and any that you absolutely hated too. So please share your opinions down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe button as well as the bell so you don't miss the next video. There is loads more wedding inspiration coming your way. You'll be able to find my whole breakdown of the best dress and decor trends in way more detail very shortly if they're not already out. So watch this space. And come over and hang out with me on Instagram at the.curated.wedding for daily inspo, tips, and real talk from inside the industry. You can also sign up to my newsletter below for exclusive advice and access to my favourite suppliers who I've worked with for years. Thanks for watching, and most importantly, have so much fun planning a day that's totally and beautifully you. See you next time.